Okay, can you hear me?
Hang on. Say something. Yes, I
Something.
can hear you.
Oh,
You
Jesus.
gonna put up the fanfic with Phoenix graphic?
Oh my god, I gotta find it first. Shit.
I'm sure you could make one in like 5 seconds.
There it is, there it
Spray paint. Put a clip art on there. There it is.
is.
Oh boy. All right, kiddos. Who's ready for a ride?
Yay!
All right. Our fanfic is called A Transformation and a New Perspective. It's a Yakuza fanfic.
Shocker.
All right. Let me.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
You kind of like clicked off there for a
Yeah, I
sec.
think my mic cut out. Hang on.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Technical
Shut up.
difficulties.
It's working now. All right. Don't judge me for reading this. All right? Don't ask me how I found it. Because I won't tell
You've
you.
already been judged. You've already been
Shut up.
judged.
Shut the fuck. We haven't even started. All right. All right. All right. All right. I can't see the chat right now, so I don't know what's happening. Hidden away. Shut up. Hidden away in the construction zone that was Kamurocho Hills, two men traded blows for a little more than the sport of it. Kiryu would have said he needed a reason, but Majima had been kind enough for them to find them both a rather secluded spot to work their frustrations out. After all, Majima had been sick, and Kiryu felt it would be unfair to tell him that he wouldn't fight. Well, it was that and the knowledge that unless they were fighting, it was hard for Kiryu to get actual alone time with Majima. He'd never admit that, especially not as he wrapped his arms around the lanky man and lifted him. It was strange, actually. Damn, that's a fucking typo right there. This whole this whole scrap had a surprise Kiryu. Fighting Majima was too easy right now. The man was too light. Maybe he could convince him to go out for ramen or something. It was this lightness that threw Kiryu off. As soon as he had Majima's front locked against his own, he slammed the man back against the pavement. Scroll down. The first thing he noticed was dampness. Ooh. But his front wasn't wet. His front wasn't wet, but it was like he was laying in some damp cloth. The second thing was far more worrying. The color of red splattered across the ground. Blood. It had to be blood, and Majima wasn't moving. Oh noes. In fact, Kiryu had noticed that he looked almost like he had exploded. Quickly he sat up, looking down at this oddly blood-free front. And then
Phoenix probably does Link, honestly.
What are you talking about?
Link says, I hope you do the oohs and ahs when you read on your own.
Oh my god. One time, I literally was reading a fanfic, and it was kind of okay. It was a little out of character. And then, like, this one sentence happened, and I was like, started screaming, because I was like, what the fuck? And then I almost couldn't finish reading it. It almost ruined the entire thing. Where was I? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Quickly he sat up, looking down at his oddly blood-free front, and then the mass of gel-like blood smeared on the ground. No, his stomach dropped. Horror crawled up his spine as he stared at his what? What was Majima to him? Rival? Best friend? More? He couldn't even bring himself to hold what was left of the man. He said, we're getting off to a dark start. He simply sat back on his knees as the sight convinced him that he'd killed the man he loved. Oh no.
No.
Tears burned, welling up in his eyes and blinding him as he tipped his head down. Kiryu made no sound as he cried. Instead, he let the beast of depression coil around his guts and drag him towards the abyss. It's so sad because literally everyone Kiryu has loved is dead. Except for Majima. The only woman he ever loved got exploded in front of him.
Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Except she didn't explode, but she did die from the explosion.
Okay. Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
Let's see. Yes. He started crying. Kiryu made no sound. Yeah. The abyss. He'd done this. He'd been the cause of yet another terrible thing. He was the monster after all. Whoa, Kiryu-chan! That was a good one! Yeah, oi! What you crying for? Majima's voice was clear but impossible, and for a brief moment, Kiryu was damn well convinced that he was hallucinating. Yeah, he takes a ton of blows to the head. When he looked up, though, he wasn't sure what to think. The thing in front of him had Majima's face. Its chest was bare and covered in what looked like an approximation of Majima's tattoos, but its lower half was just not there. It was just a puddle. A ruby red puddle. He's a slime boy now. That reminded Kiryu of those jelly treats sold in convenience stores. The tattoos looked to be made of gold flakes suspended in the gel that made up this thing. Oi, you alright? Concern crossed the thing, Majima face. You just knocked me stupid for a few. I ain't dead or nothing. Majima-san. Yeah? Kiryu hadn't seen this level of worry on Majima's face before, but it was clear to him that Majima never expected Kiryu to worry this much about him. Aw, well, that's just sad. Look at yourself. Huh? God, he makes these dumb noises, I swear to God, and every time they type it out, it's so stupid to look at. Majima glanced down and then paused, looking at his slightly transparent hands and the gold flecks floating around his body. Curiously, he inserted one of his fingers into his own chest, thinking about how that actually felt. It was weird. Fucked up, one might say. God. It's one thing to read this, but it's another thing to read it out loud. Kiryu? Yeah? You fucking beat all the blood out of me! I don't think that's how it works. Kiryu cleared his voice before scrubbing at his eyes. With that done, he reached forward, touching the warm slime gently. Ooh. I want to touch a slime, Majima. That sounds hot.
Slime me.
Draw me like one of your DeviantArt boys, Majima.
Jesus Christ.
You were really light when I lifted you, Majima-san. Huh? Majima's eyes gold glinting. Shut up! The ruby red was locked onto the hand on his chest. Then, what the fuck is this sentence? Whatever.
Do you English?
Yeah, this could have benefited from a beta, I think. Been feeling weird. Ain't had time to worry since I was running a fever. Since I wasn't running a fever or nothing. Didn't hurt anyone. It's like, didn't hurt anymore. It's like, you got some on your face. He reached touching Kiryu's cheek to rub a thumb over the man's lips. Ooh. Kiryu's skin wasn't cold. Wasn't cold at all, but it was cool. Cooler than Majima felt. A shuddering sigh escaped him as the glittering gold eye left half closed. What? Don't put a comma here. Whatever. Ruby thumb running over Kiryu's lips as Majima lazily attempted to push the finger into Kiryu's mouth. We're going places, guys. Hold on. The car's about to leave. Curious
Oh,
lips parted
fucking hell.
at the slick feeling of Majima's thumb on his lips. Sweetness invaded his mouth along with Majima's thumb. Not his tongue, not yet.
If this guy is jelly, can you just like put anything anywhere? Link asks.
I mean, he's a slime boy, but we'll get there. It was an almost overwhelming taste, and it was followed by a rush of need coiling in his gut. He's an aphrodisiac slime, guys. Where did I? Yeah. Kiryu lifted a shaky hand, gently wrapping his fingers around Majima's pliant wrist and guiding the hand away from his mouth. The look of disappointment on Majima's face killed him on the inside. Ooh, no, don't disappoint him. And the coiling heat in his gut began to turn to a strange cold. Majima-san
began to turn straight.
He began to turn straight. Oh no. Kiryu's like, God. Kiryu's at least bi, and he's also never had sex. He's a fucking virgin. Everyone he loves like dies or goes to the US or is trying to beat the shit out of him. Cause they're Majima. Majima-san, Kiryu's voice was deep, thick with growing need. He needed more of that taste. He needed more. He needed Majima. He needed... ... He wasn't sure. We're in public. It doesn't say that, but it should. I'll just fix the dialogue as we go. Shh, Kiryu-chan. Ain't no one gonna come over here. Just let me... Majima breathed the words out, wrist shifting and sliding its way free of Kiryu's loose grip. The hand shifted into more of a tendril, wrapping around Kiryu's hand and sliding his way up his sleeve. Fuck Kiryu-chan. I don't know what this shit's about, but I gotta. I need ya. I know you need me. I can see on your face. Fuck. Desperate to touch Kiryu's skin, Majima pressed his face to Kiryu. Majima's fiery lips became Kiryu's world. As God, shut the fuck up, Paulo!
Cat is just ruining the atmosphere.
He's doing bullshit over there. Stop. Where was I?
I don't know.
Hang on. It's hard to look at this. Ugh.
They're touching.
They're touching.
Calm down,
They're
Link.
touching.
Calm down. Virgin ears. Link.
Yeah, the heat was a balm to the strange cold, and the sweetness of Majima's pliant flesh was more than enough to weaken Kiryu's will. His own lips parted, and Majima's tongue pressed its way into Kiryu's mouth. What the fuck are you doing, Apollo? Stop.
Apollo just wants to read the fanfic.
He's just fucking up my shoes. Stop. Hey. Stop. What an asshole.
Apollo's acting it out.
Yeah, he's like jumping around, trying to like throw my shoes across the room. Let's see. Let's see. Yes. Majima tongue pressed its way to Kiryu's mouth. A moan muffled by thick goo escaped Kiryu. His free hand moved to Majima's side, grasping for Majima, and being rewarded by having his hand pulled into the warm goo of Majima's body. Stop. I can't with you. Slurp. Within his mouth, the tongue within his mouth was filling it, slowly sliding down his throat and somehow not blocking his airway. Warm slime pressed against his front, sliding down his pants and into underwear already dampened by pre-cum.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, like, we have barely begun.
Oh God.
Oh,
I don't know. You can't read the whole stream.
well, it's not gonna be the whole stream. We're about a third of the way there. A chuckle bubbles up
Oh,
from
Jesus.
Majima, followed by words whispered in Kiryu's ear. Look at how bad you want me, Kiryu-chan. You need me as bad as I'm needing you, don't you? Fuck, your body feels so nice against me. I just want to be in ya. You'll do that for me, yeah, Kiryu? The fuck? Hollow? Can't trust these damn cats. Yeah, Kiryu nodded at the words, opening his eyes that he hadn't realized he'd shut to see the slime in his mouth was no longer from Majima's tongue. Instead, Majima had shifted his body to allow for his mouth to be free as he gently smeared the sweet slime down Kiryu's throat. It's some weird war shit. Slime wrapped around Kiryu's cock. Warm and slick against his. Shut up! I can't! Against his sensitive flesh. Majima started, swirling the tip of his tentacle around the head of Kiryu's dick. The the noise that escaped Kiryu was muffled but pathetic. His hips jerked even as he was well trapped by the slime and dampening clothes. He was shivering, needing the heat of the goo on top of him more than anything. The feeling of the goo that made Majima cupping gently. Listen, we need a comma here.
You can do
Cupping
it.
gently,
You
squeezing
can do
his
it.
balls was enough to draw another needy croon from him. Another noise muffled by the tentacle in his mouth. The tentacle was now beginning to move gently, pulsing as it filled his mouth with sweetness and heat. It's real nice seeing you all needy like this, Kiryu-chan. God, I'm thinking about the real Majima's voice, and if he ever said this, I think I would lose my mind. Like, what? Because it'd be like half screechy and screaming. Words were followed by a thin tendril of slime pressing into Kiryu's cock, slowly skirming its way down his urethra. Once settled into his dick, the slime wrapped around Kiryu's cock began to pulse and stroke. The slime massaged his cock and balls, slowly and meaningfully. I'm gonna milk you dry, Kiryu-chan. I ain't sure. Just know, feels real good everywhere you touch me. Keep squirming. Makes it better.
Phoenix would come instantly
Oh
if he
my
said it.
god. He'd say it in Japanese, so I wouldn't know he was saying it.
Oh, Jesus.
The words were doing nothing but making it harder for Kiryu to keep his mind together. He's gonna get fucking brain shattered. I know it. Shut up, Paulo! Damn, baby.
Oh,
Stop. He knew he was laying on the pavement with a red slime-like creature that had been Majima on top of him, and yet somehow this felt normal. Better than normal. It felt right. He arched, silently begging for more. He wasn't sure. All he knew is that he wanted whatever Majima wanted, and he wanted to keep Majima safe. He wanted to be what? Hot slime slid down and to what the fuck is this sentence? Stop! You don't make this here. Hot slime slid down to his ass, interrupting the thought as it pressed inward. Slick, hot, yet gentle. It began to slowly work his his hole open.
Oh my god.
Kiryu tried to grab for anything, but found his hands well restrained in Majima's body. He was being slowly worked over and used like man-turned goo. You can just say slime man. You don't need to like have a goddamn metaphor for everything. The sweetness that had drugged him seemed to loosen his. God damn it. His hole as well. The tentacle shoved into him. continued to thicken and slowly stroke him in and out. Yet there was hesitation. Let's see. Pants. Majima's voice. Pants. Majima's voice held desperation as he used his slime to shove Kiryu's hands down onto his pants. Kiryu needed no encouragement and quickly began to work his fly open. Listen, it's already in there. You don't really need to take him off at this point, but okay. Kiryu needed no encouragement and quickly began to work his fly open. With that open, Majima was able to shove them down and off Kiryu's legs, along with his underwear. Tentacles of slime wrapped around the human's thighs. The slime was strong as steel cables, as Majima all but forced Kiryu's legs apart. The tentacle in his ass thickened further and began to thrust, squirming and thrashing inside of him. Let's see. The seeking tentacle soon found what it was after and pressed against Kiryu's prostate, followed by his cock being squeezed and almost aggressively stroked. The orgasm hit Kiryu was more than he expected, coiling heat in his gut and turning to flames and flashed over his entire body. His muscles locked. The scream of pleasure was muffled by the slime still thrusting into his mouth and forcing it open. He could feel the slime. Damn it! He could feel the slime around his cock milking him for all he was worth, massaging his balls as the tendril inside his dick thrust and squirmed, attempting to get every bit of cum he had. It didn't even stop as he felt his orgasm waning. Instead, Majima began to milk him harder. He could feel the slime pulling his shirt open, wrapping around both his nipples and squeezing.
Oh my god.
Man, doing dialogue is awkward. I don't like reading it. Look.
Listen, this was your idea.
I know! Look at how good you're doing, Kiryu-chan. Majima's voice cooed, voice thick with want. Feels great, don't it? We're supposed to be like this. Ain't that right? You feel it too, right? Kiryu nodded, attempting to lift one hand, finding it free. He gently reached toward Majima's face, cupping the warm cheek. Aw, you're a big old softy, Kiryu-chan. Majima leaned into the hand and laughed a little. I'm gonna fill you up and make you mine. Kiryu tried to speak, tried to beg for it, but Majima's tentacle was still filling his mouth. The other one, the one filling his ass. Yeah, I remember.
You remember back then?
You remember back 5 minutes ago? Yeah, it's still happening. Seemed to have finally settled on a rather wide. No, not wide. That says large girth. Without warning, it began to press further, beginning to fill Kiryu's guts with thick slime. Ooh. The warmth of slime seemed to be a balm on the empty cold that kept attempting to overwhelm him. Remember, if you're depressed, just fuck a slime, man. Kiryu.
You heard it here first. Ultimate advice from Phoenix.
Yes. That's what they'll tell you at the doctor. Kiryu moaned aloud for the first time as the tentacle within his mouth retracted. More and more slime flowed into him, and soon only his arms were restrained against his sides. Kiryu gasped, trying to say Majima's name as he looked down upon his lover's face resting on his slowly growing stomach. What? Oh, it feels so good. The wine that escaped Kiryu caused Majima to grin, licking his stomach gently. I ain't done. Just gonna make you into a good home. He's gonna live inside of him! What? Kiryu's words were interrupted by the feeling of something very solid pressing against his ass. He arched as Majima began to work his cock again, as if he were trying to make Kiryu ignore the feeling of a hard object pressing in. It wasn't needed, really. Kiryu spread his legs and arched as he tried to help Majima work the thing in. It felt right that it was supposed. It felt right that it was supposed to go in him so that it could be protected. What? The thought was derailed by confusion. Confusion that was quickly forgotten as Majima's core popped into Kiryu. The feeling drew a groan from him. Another noise that that didn't even worry Kiryu. He didn't care if someone found them because this was right. It's so distracting because I'm trying to read this and my cat's just fucking around in the background. Majima groaned, arching as the cord popped into his host. Host? Yes, host. Like, these are thoughts that aren't, like, bracketed by, like, thought quotations. Confusing at times. Fuck, you're gonna be a good host, Kiryu-chan. He breathed the words out as soon as the cord was pushed deeper and settled itself. Slime beginning to fill every nook and cranny of Kiryu's insides. They were one. They needed one another now, and could not survive without the other. This was how it should be. A slime needed a good host. Fuck, where were these thoughts coming from? Majima didn't have long to question it as he forced the rest of himself into Kiryu, only leaving a thin layer over the man's cock and balls. Kiryu's we're almost done. Kinda.
Thank God.
Kinda. Kiryu's hands, now free, were quick to rest on his distended belly. He pressed gently and let out a soft moan, pleasure racing through his limbs. The emptiness was gone, replaced by warmth and comfort that he honestly had never known. Majima, the question was so soft, with no heat to it, except that I added heat to it. Instead, it was followed by Kiryu gently rubbing his own belly. Dunno. Majima's voice came more from inside. Dunno. Majima's voice came from more inside Kiryu's head than anywhere. Had to keep my core safe. That thing's like my main part now. I'm pretty sure I can't get this goo out. Can get this goo out of you, but it feels right, you know. Anyway, we need to get somewhere safe before the boys come to check on us. Think your pants will fit? The real question is, can I move? Kiryu groaned, slowly moving himself up. His skin was sensitive, so was his cock, because there's still slime on it.
God damn it!
Yeah, he could still feel the he could still feel the slime stroking his nearly oversensitive dick. A shiver ran through him as he fought his way up, relearning his balance with this mess of slime in his guts. It was a struggle, but soon enough he had his very damp pants pulled up, though they wouldn't zip closed. Thankfully, even though his cock was still being milked by it, it had gone soft, so whatever. All he had to do was contest with his massive gut. I'm not looking forward to walking to my apartment like this, Majima-san. Think of it as a testament to how much you love me. Or a king thing. Whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just like... Jeez. Majima's voice felt nice in Kiryu's head, and he sighed in response, using his belt to very carefully secure his pants on. This is really weird, you know. I'm pretty sure I read something like this. This is getting too meta. I don't like it. Majima laughed, a quick bark of amusement that filled Kiryu's head. You read hentai, Kiryu-chan? And I thought you were all virginal and shit. Even virgins have to get off, Majima. Anyway.
Wow.
Then there's like a time skip. Kiryu faced the difficult task of escaping the hills of construction area and navigating Kamurocho with his swollen stomach like he was 9 months pregnant. Jesus. It didn't help that the heat in his gut hadn't fully faded. It was a haze of near arousal coiling up in him. Majima, of course, had made it even worse for him as he continued to gently squeeze and stroke Kiryu's spent cock. Like... Ugh.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The feeling of slime sliding in and out, coiling around him and massaging his limp, overstimulated dick was nearly too much. On more than one occasion, Kiryu was forced to lean against a wall and bite his own fist to stifle a moan. Eventually, though, he made it back to his apartment, tossing Majima's slime-coated clothes into the bathtub. Desperately, Kiryu stripped his own clothes off with shaking hands and tossed his equally ruined suit on top of Majima. Kiryu nearly made it to his futon before falling on his hands and knees, moaning as Majima Slime squeezed his now half-hard cock to try and milk it for all what little cum was left within. I mean... Kiryu found himself swallowing desperately, not wanting to drool like some oversexed slut.
Oh, God.
He could feel the slime shifting inside of him, slowly moving out, only to leave a needy void within.
I have no idea, Link. I have no
What?
idea what's going on. Link said, wait, if slime is always touching him, doesn't that mean he'll never get hard?
Listen, I mean, it's only like massaging him, so it's like, I don't know how long his fucking refractory period is, but apparently it's over now. It's half hard again.
Jesus Christ.
Where am I? Shit.
I don't know.
Hang on. Yeah, oversexed slut. That's where we stopped. He could feel the slime shifting inside of him, slowly moving out to only leave a needy void within. He could feel it coiling around his legs to lock them in position, and he could feel Majima's hot palms against his lower back. Aw, you still need me, Kiryu-chan? You know, I could get used to this, seeing you all on your hands and knees. Majima's voice wasn't in Kiryu's head any longer. Instead, Majima had reformed and whispered them into his ear. This is all pretty fucked up, you know. I made your insides all perfect for me. Pretty sure you'd die.
Oh my God, Link.
What?
Link said, I have been told that after a PP shoots its white wee-wee, it hurts if you touch it.
Yeah, I mean, some people are into that though, Link. Overstimulation.
That sentence, though.
Yeah, I don't know. That's at least what I've heard. I don't really talk to the penis ones that often.
The penis ones.
Yeah, pretty sure I'd die. You'd die if I left. I'd die if you left. Majima trailed, but as soon as he spoke, he began to thrust his slime in and out of Kiryu's ass. The movement was slow, but drew a low groan from the man, his fingers curling against the ground. Majima-san, please. It's so much. Swallowing hard, Kiryu managed to manage the words as the burning arousal caused his overstimulated cock, see, there it is, to harden once more. If you try hard and long enough, it'll get hard again.
Just don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
You just gotta know all the erogenous zones, apparently. He couldn't even jerk his hips to get more movement. Majima had his back end completely restrained. Also, it's important to note that Kiryu is probably like, what, 40 in this fic? Depending on like where they are. Yeah, he's like 40.
Oh my God.
And Majima's even older than him. Where did I stop? Yeah, the little laugh he heard from behind was highlighted by the pillar of slime moving harder within him. A whiny moan escaped the well-muscled man, drool beading at his lower lip before slowly dripping on down to the floor. The sight of that made Kiryu whine, shame coiling like a black serpent around his heart. I don't feel like that simile was needed for this fic. I feel like it's a little too classy.
Really, Link? Really? No, you're not.
What?
Like says, I'm 42, but I have 5 kids and I'm a
Okay, you
virgin.
say that, but Kiryu like runs an orphanage, so he's got like what 8 kids he looks after.
Oh my god.
You're all needy and shit. One red hand reached up around fingers gently trailing over Kiryu's lip. You want me that bad? It's like, I'm gonna make the most of this, Kiryu-chan. Gonna give you the best time of your life. So sweet that you're even drooling for me. I can't do Majima's voice and read this at the same time. Mainly, it's hard because he doesn't have an English voice actor anymore. It's hard to visualize. The words soothed the shame a bit. It was comforting to know that Majima didn't mind him being needy. He wanted that. Majima wanted him needy and begging. Kiryu groaned, attempting to catch those fingers in his mouth. Nah, we ain't doing that. I got a better idea. Majima's hand disappeared as the slime in his ass began to pump harder.
Jesus.
Majima leaned his torso forward, coating Kiryu's back in his slime before wrapping his arms around, hands resting over Kiryu's chest. Slime quickly surrounded both of Kiryu's pert nipples and began to squeeze and pinch, milking them gently. Beyond wow. Beyond the pleasurable feeling of having his nipples played with, Kiryu could feel a strange tingle around them. the same that had been surrounding his cock since he had made it to the apartment. Fuck. We're almost there.
Hopefully, because there's like 7 minutes until Ubisoft.
Yeah, we're almost done. I promise. The overwhelming feeling of slime thrusting in and out of his ass, the feeling of his nipples being teased, the feeling of his cock being constantly fucked and milked, and the wonderful feeling of his stomach stretching as more of Majima was thrust inside of him was too. Kiryu's arms gave way and his face was mashed into the floor, drool puddling under his cheek. More and more of Majima was pushed into him as heat swelled in his chest from the tingling slime around his nipple. His endorphin-drunk brain noted that he could taste the sweetness of Majima's flesh just before the tentacle of slime thrust out of his throat. Damn. He fucked him so hard, it came out of his mouth. It twitched and coiled, stretching out like a lewd tongue as Kiryu was filled utterly. Slime supported him as the tentacle thrust in and out, muting Kiryu's noises and highlighting the groans of pleasure escaping Majima. Oh, fuck Kiryu-chan. The words slipped free as Majima thrust through all of Kiryu, unknowingly changing him further. Kiryu was being made into the perfect host, the perfect vessel, and even Majima was completely unaware. All either of them knew was the addictive pleasure that Majima's new slime body could give them both. Harder and harder, Majima fucked Kiryu, almost cruelly milking his cock and nipples. He'd noticed as he milked the other man that Kiryu's cock began to just slowly leak cum into the slime, the urethra widening to accommodate the slime that was thrust into it. Kiryu was trapped in an endless orgasm.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
One that spiked higher and higher as he felt some kind of warm relief on his nipple. God. He heard Majima make a surprised and then pleased noise as he felt a sucking sensation on both. His fingers dug into the floor, the feeling of the tatami mat against his dull nails only briefly interrupting the pleasure. This was right. He was helping Majima, and Majima was helping him. They couldn't be separated, but together they were stronger than anything else in the city. I mean, that's technically not wrong. They're both freaks of nature. They can survive anything. That was good. His pleasure-muddled thoughts were interrupted by his own gasp as Majima pulled his slime cock back into Kiryu's body. He could feel it coiling in his stomach, drawing a needy noise from him. God, I don't want to read what this says, but I will.
No, fuck's sake.
You're making milk just for me, Kiryu-chan. You're so good at this. Like we were made for each other. Gonna take this town over and fix all the fucking bullshit, Majima crooned, the words gasping and moaning as he pulled on Kiryu's milky tits. Egg drooling cock. I can feel it. This is just the beginning. Oh, fuck, shit. Kiryu-chan! Majima's shout of pleasure made Kiryu moan as he felt a sudden swelling in his stomach. He was wordless with pleasure and the feeling of more solid orbs pushing past his prostate drug a full orgasm out of him. His exhausted cock sprayed cum into the goo surrounding it.
Oh,
causing a sizable bubble of cum to be trapped against the skin. God damn it. It was so much that it took the goo a few moments to absorb it, turning it milky as it did so.
Alright, we got 2
Yeah,
minutes.
we're almost done, I promise. Milk as well as surged out, turning the transparent red goo around his chest to a milky pink, as it almost overwhelmed the goo's capacity to egg after egg filled Kiryu's stomach, each one pushing Kiryu deeper and deeper into a mindless orgasm. Majima as well was trapped in the cycle of pleasure until he felt his own slime slowly secure the eggs in place. That's where they were intended to go, inside the host, in a protected spot. Majima groaned, squirming as he thrust a few more times before fully pulling himself out of Kiryu. His core was left in the now unconscious man, along with a thin layer of slime over Kiryu's chest and cock. But Majima noted that he now had a goo body that could move independently of Kiryu. Useful. Such a good boy, he cooed. the words, carefully lifting the words out. Wait, he cooed the words out, carefully lifting the dragon of Dojima's limp form. He gently placed Kiryu onto the bed, petting the very small bulge in his stomach, smaller than it had been with Majima inside. He then crawled on top of his Kiryu-chan, and rubbed his cheek against Kiryu's face. Once Kiryu woke up, they would have to have a talk about the eggs and children, but, huh? Frowning, Majima opened his golden eye again when he realized what he just thought. Eggs? Kids? Fuck. The end.
What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, I gotta hurry and put that back
Alright,
up.
I'll get off this chat or whatever. I think. How do I leave?
I would say that was a pleasure, but oh my god.
uh
Jesus Christ.